there was suddenly a loud voice at the door threatening to barge into the house. Dallas Carter rolled up his sleeves and was ready to fight. He wasn't leaving until they coughed up at least $1 million. Mary started frowning. John had indeed knocked into a car the night before. A luxury car no less, and it must have been worth a lot of money. But it was their fault for blocking the way in the first place.
I'm really sorry about this. Let me take a look outside.
Mary walked out to see Nicole Carter with her hands on her hips and shouting away.
So what if you own a BMW? What's so great about that? So much so you even dare to knock into my brother's Porsche. You know how much that Porsche costs. It's enough to buy several shitty BMWs.
Nicole Carter rarely found the chance to shout at others this confidently. So her voice was extra loud and attracted the attention of many neighbors. She wanted to show everyone that a BMW was practically worthless in front of a Porsche.
Are you Mary? So you guys are the ones who knocked into my car last night. Just because you own a shitty BMW. You've become arrogant, huh? Let's see how you're going to compensate me. Prepare to go bankrupt. That car of mine is worth more than $1 million. And now it's beyond repair.
Mary's face turned as white as a sheet. A car worth more than $1 million? They couldn't afford that for sure. But it was too late for that. After all, John had indeed knocked into his car.
Dallas Carter? Why are you here?
CEO Cooper.
Dallas Carter immediately froze on the spot. Why was the CEO here? And he had walked out from Mary's house. It was as if he had been struck by lightning and was rooted to the ground. He didn't even dare to move an inch. In front of the CEO, a mere departmental head like him wasn't even qualified to carry his shoes.
You two know each other?
This is the head of customer service at the headquarters. And he was recently promoted.
Nathaniel Cooper did not conceal any of this. He could tell immediately that Dallas Carter had some unsettled matters with Mary. And scoffed in his heart. They had taken much effort to make sure Mary accepted their apology. But now Dallas Carter had come to make trouble. What was this all about? This idiot didn't know what was good for him. Was he trying to get the whole Newark Bank into trouble?
Dallas Carter, what is going on?
CEO, it's them. They knocked into my car last night and damaged it, so
Nonsense. You were the one who purposely parked the car at the exit and blocked everyone's way. Others didn't dare to touch your car, but this family dared to.
There are all sorts of people in this world, huh? So he's a departmental head in Newark Bank. No wonder he dares to throw his weight about like that.
He's arrogant just because he's rich. Doesn't the bank have money only because we put money in? I'm never using Newark Bank anymore.
Some of the neighbors watching were reasonable people. And couldn't hold it in when they heard the nonsense Dallas Carter was spouting. Nathaniel Cooper's face became even nastier when he heard what they said. This matter had now started to affect Newark Bank's reputation. He turned and bowed slightly to Mary.
Madam Dawson, I am really very sorry for yet another disturbance to your life. I hope you will not take this to heart. I will settle this matter.
Nathaniel Cooper's face grew serious, and Dallas Carter felt weak in his knees. He had never seen the CEO so polite to anybody before. How was this woman connected to the CEO? He turned around to look at his own sister, Nicole Carter, and she was also shocked, speechless. She never knew that Mary's family had connections like this. Even the CEO of Newark Bank had to bow to her?
I'll compensate you for your car. Also, you've been fired. Every employee of Newark Bank must be of the highest character. If you are of poor character, don't even think of joining the company.
CEO, please don't fire me. I was wrong. I admit my mistake.
Dallas Carter's face was ashen. If he were to be fired, he couldn't pay the monthly installments on the car loan. and he couldn't afford to lose such a good job too.
Secretary, inform HR and make a company announcement. Also, tell the one who recommended Dallas Carter for a promotion to see me in the office first thing tomorrow morning for a reflection session.
Dallas Carter was now like a deflated balloon, and his entire body was weak. Nicole Carter was also still standing there, her face all pale. She never thought things would end this way. She hadn't even had time to boast about how her younger brother had been promoted and bought a luxury car. And now all this had vanished into thin air?
We are all neighbors after all, so have some pity on us. This is all my brother's fault, so we'll apologize to you right now. We are sorry. We are sorry.
Mary looked at Nicole Carter. No matter how kind she was, she too could not tolerate how someone could be so two-faced. Nicole Carter had often badmouthed Mary and family. Did Nicole Carter think that she didn't know about that? She had called Bill a cripple and called her an old hag who didn't know how to make money. Recently she had said their family was a bunch of good-for-nothings and had to find someone to marry into the family. Did Nicole Carter really think she didn't know she said all these awful things?
I'm sorry, but you deserved this.
Nicole Carter's face immediately paled when she heard this. She didn't dare to say anything anymore and dragged Dallas Carter away immediately. If they didn't leave now, they could be humiliated even further.
Madam Dawson, I apologize once again for ruining your mood.
No worries, I'm thankful for your help. As for the compensation...
Please don't talk about the money, please don't, that concerns my pride too. We should get going, we will not disturb Madam Dawson any longer.
With that, Nathaniel Cooper and his subordinates left. All the neighbors were watching with envy, and some were even jealous. Nobody knew that Mary and family were such big shots. Even the CEO of Newarken Bank had to be so polite to her. Mary was a bit embarrassed by all this. So she just greeted some of the neighbors with a few nods of the head and then went back into the house. She was still in shock about what had just happened. Meanwhile, at the factory construction site office, Elise's face was grim. She was so furious.
They're trying to monopolize the market. They've gone too far. Miss Dawson, that's the only way we can get materials in. Now they've created a roadblock and they don't allow any other suppliers' materials to come through. If we need materials, we have to buy from them.
Frustration was written all over the face of the one in charge of this, Mr. Clifford.
But their materials are 5 times higher than the market rate.
It was impossible for them to buy because this price would exceed their budget. And the office would never approve this purchase. The factory had to be built very urgently because the project had already started. If they couldn't build the factory in time, they would face great losses. Nobody could shoulder this responsibility at all.
I called the police and they ran once the police came. But after the police left, they came back and continued blocking the road. So I don't know what to do at all.
He couldn't possibly get the police to keep coming back either. Elise was furious now. These people had obviously come to make trouble. They had just chased away one group a few days back. And now a new group was here. It seemed like many people had their eye on this project. Elise didn't even know who could be so bent on ruining this project. She sat in the office with the various project managers to think of a solution. Meanwhile, John, who had been standing at the door all this time, hopped into the car and left. There was only one proper road leading from the city to where the factory was. The road wasn't very wide, but it was the only way to the factory. All the building materials the factory needed had to come through this road to get to the factory. But right now, there was a large sign halfway down the road, "Roadblock ahead, drive slowly." They didn't care about ordinary cars, but if it was a vehicle carrying building materials, they would immediately tell the driver to turn back and get lost.
This marks the end of Chapter 22. Please subscribe to my channel and comment any suggestions or novels you'd like to be featured here.